Hello, welcome to Photoshop tutorial for churches. Today I'm going to show you a flyer that we were able to reproduce for our women's retreat that was located in the mountains. And so I'm going to go to open and I'm going to pull that flyer up. And if you look at the flyer, we had pretty much one theme. The theme of the conference or the retreat was push, and it has the effect of the young lady who is pushing the P, right? And it gives the effect as if, all of the letters are moving over. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. We use this on our t-shirt and, on our brochures and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to name this push, and I'm just going to work with a landscape, 11 by 8.5. If you want to reproduce it, it's best that you put your resolution on 300. That means if you want to make some flyers, print them out and pass them out, you can do that. If you only want it for Facebook, you can use 72, 200. It's just up to you. So let's go ahead and get started. So the background was purple. So I'm going to go over here to my paint bucket and click on that. I'm going to go down here to my foreground, my set foreground color, and click on that. And you can click whatever color you want. So I have the purple color, and I'm going to click on it to get that purple background. Okay, so that's the first step. The second step is we're going to get the text, and our text is push. It is capital P-U-S-H. All right. Now, as you see nothing. And the reason why is because located up here is the same background color. So I'm going to make it white so that I can see it. All right. So I need it capitalized. So let me put my caps on. P.U.S.H. Okay. Now, if you look at the character of this, it has a height here. I can adjust the height however tall I want it to be or short I want it to be. Here, I can spread it out if I want, okay, or I can compress it. I can also spread it out this way or stretch it, or I can just make it small as I want, but I like the stretch look, okay. And I'm missing that last piece. Okay, I don't need that layer, so let me get rid of that. I'm missing that last dot here. All right, there it is. Okay, so if you look, this push has a gradient to it, and it also has a shadow. So we're going to right click this layer push, and we're going to give it a gradient overlay. So we're going to click on gradient overlay, make sure that box is checked. And I've already had this set to gray, white, gray, white. Okay. Now you can do it whatever color you want, but that's the color that I had already set it as. But if you want to change that, you're more than welcome. You just click that and it brings up the different colors if you want it. All right. So I'm done with that. There we go. Now the next step I have, so as you see, my gradient is there. I'm going to add a drop shadow. And I'm going to make sure that drop shadow is not too far away, right? Like that, but just slightly that I can see it, okay? And I spread it to about 14, or you can play with it as much as you want to. And the size, as you see, it makes it a little blurry. So we're gonna go back down so we can see it, okay? So the next one we're going to do is we're going to bevel and emboss it. So we're going to do an emboss, a pillow emboss. And this pillow emboss, as you see, it it has certain depths that you can adjust it. And that's what it looks like. So even if I take it all the way up to 1,000, it still looks pretty good. But I'm going to take it down to about 700 or so. Now the size is at 6. If I increase the size, you see what it does, right? It gets a little bit messy. So I'm just going to bring it back down to be just enough to blend in my drop shadow with my lettering. And if I were to soften it, it looks like this. okay, to make it more rounder and so forth. Okay, so I'm done with that. I have my push. Now, once I have my push, I want to bring in my young lady. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to place embedded, and I'm going to bring in my push silhouette. Okay, so I have my push silhouette here, and as you see, she's pushing. Now she has a white background, and I don't need that. So I'm going to take away this white background by going over to the left to my eraser tool and right click. And I'm going to get my magic eraser tool, and I'm going to magically, well, it needs to be rasterized. So let me go up here and rasterize it so that I can adjust it. Rasterize layer, and I'm going to click on it, and it's going to remove that white background. Okay, so let me move her over here, and I want to shrink her. Okay, so if I shrink her, I'm going to do Control T, so I can make her the same height as my push. All right, my pushing letters. All right, now she's pushing, so we want to make it, have that impact of push. So with that being the case, I'm going to go back over here to my letters push. And as you see, her hands need to be on the side of this P. So I'm going to move this over a little bit more. I can compress it a little more and see what I get here. All right. So that is compressed, but a little bit too much, because what I want to do is I want to make it to where it looks like everything is being pushed. So if I do that, I'm going to go to my edit, transform, and I want to skew it over. Okay. So let's skew it, skew it, skew it. So it looks like it's being pushed, right? Now I want to leave a little bit more, because if you look here, it's a little dent there. Okay. And also that push is taller than she is on that one. So we can do the same thing here if we want. If I come here, and if I want to make it taller, I can come here with this, and that makes it taller. Okay, so that solves that problem. So as we see, her hand is there. So I'm going to move it over a little bit more so that it can look as if she is pushing even the P. And I'm going to skew it some more as well. I'm using my arrow keys to move it over just in case you see it moving and not this here. So let me skew it a little bit more so it can look as if it's being pushed over. All right. There it is. So let me bring it over just a little bit more so that I can go from there. So we have her pushing. Okay. But her hand is on the P. So we want to give it the effect that this P is actually going in. Okay. So I'm going to have to change this because I want to move this. So if I moved it, then I'm going to move it with this smudge tool. So I want to smudge it over. But as you see, it's saying that I can't do that. I'm going to have to rasterize that. So if I rasterize it, it no longer is a text layer. It'll tell you its text will no longer be editable, editable. So do we want to rasterize it? Yes, we do. So we're going to click OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to begin to give it effect as if it's being pushed by her hand. Okay. All right. So as you see, I don't quite like the way that turned out. So I'm going to go back and undo it a little bit. And I'm going to make the smudge tool a little bigger so it can be smudged all at one time. Okay. So let's do this again. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to go over and up and over, and it looks like somehow she is pushing that, right? Okay, so if you look around, The effect of the bevel is showing that you can just see that a little bit on there to where it looks like as if it is, little pieces that are left. So I can go and I can take my eraser tool and let me get my brush and I can brush it down just a little bit. Okay. So it doesn't look like I have that extra piece there, those extra things. So just to make it look a little bit better than what it does. All right. So we have that going on here. All right. We're making it look as if she is altering how our P is looking. Okay. All right. And we can play with that more and more as much as we need to. And once that's done, all right, and I can move her, I can adjust her any way that I want to adjust her here. All right, but I still want to make sure that she still has that effect. Now, this is in white here. So I'm going to change her to white. So I can do that by right clicking, go to blending, and I can do a color overlay. So that color overlay, I'm going to make it white, right? Now, let me go back. So as you see, it looks, as if she has that effect that she is pushing that P. And we can, as I said before, we can adjust this and make it look as if a little bit more like it's not so stagnant. So we can do that by using our smudge once again to go along you know, with what we're doing, to alter it a little bit more than what it's been altered. Okay. So it's like you, as if you're deforming it, like you're, taking it out of, like you're pushing it to the point to where it is sort of messing up your P. Let me make it a little smaller and I'm going to give it that feel too. All right. So there we have that. So it looks like she's pushing it, and I can adjust her as well. Adjust her up where she's saying, push, 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 push. All right, there we go. So as you see, this is just the beginning of this flyer here, and I can put in all of the wording and so forth that goes along with this, but this is the gist of it. Thank you so much. Once again, remember to subscribe below. God bless you all.